You see, the League replay likes to do this amazing thing where if you start the spectate of a game, just as the game begins, it doesn't actually load the game until a bit later. But they're trying to account for the 3 minute delay artificially by stopping you from watching the game as soon as it starts. Just so they can always keep the 3 minute delay. So now real time is actually 3:55. But I loaded into the game slightly earlier than 3 minutes, so my game just stood still doing absolutely nothing for like a minute before it just decided to play everything out. But anyway, we got Jax versus Shaco top, a very brave Shaco player going to get absolutely hammered unless he knows what he's doing. Olaf versus Jarvan. There's now a Olaf one trick in the jungle, apparently. That's how they play. A Ryze mid against the Ahri. Very normal matchup here. Bot lane we have Lucian Braum versus Draven Nami, a highly confident Draven player that has decided to name himself after the champion that he is playing. So, that's gonna work. So, that if he starts feeding, people will flame him extra hard. That is exactly how it works. So now everybody's now heading into lane, and I will let direct-to-camera do some work for now. There's no need to manually pilot anything. Shaco Comet top lane. Ignite Teleport. He's going to try to cheese the Jax player and make him fall super behind in the early game. But can he actually do it? He takes an Empower to the face, but the box will scare Jax off. Jax actually started Empower level 1, which is not something that you commonly see. Usually Counter-Strike is a better option because it lets you win level 1 trades. Shaco beats him to the level 2. And the boxes will ensure the push. The Windows notifications are coming in again. Come on, man. I should find a way to mute the Windows notification. It almost never tells me anything useful. It just stands there as noise. And here comes the Draven, being empowered by Nami. This is a very, very oppressive lane, and one mistake can cause Draven to snowball. Bot lane is definitely a point of pressure, and it's up to the red team to stay alive and stay safe in this matchup. And there's the Ahri taking Dark Harvest, actually. I just noticed that. It's the red tree. Pressuring in the Ryze, who has Phase Rush, and I'm assuming gathering Storm on top of it. So his laning is not going to be great until he picks up some items. That Mana Crystal definitely is not going to save him from Ahri's pressure. The wave is pushing back against top now. Jax jumps in headfirst against 2 boxes, but he has Counter-Strike. He stuns the boxes, and for the most part, the boxes just fade away. Clearly, not playing into the Shaco's favor right now, but here comes the Olaf. Shaco deceives to the side. He's going to try to pincer. The Ignite comes down. The Comet and the Ticks, the Undertow grabs the kill. The Ignite will definitely not kill him there with the potion running still. So that was a good pickup by the Olaf. Undertow takes down 3 minions as the minor attacks. Flash followed by flash. Olaf drops to the counter gank. And when the dust is all settled, there's still a huge minion wave, but Shaco has teleported to pick it up. He is operating at a CS deficit, but the assists will get him slightly ahead. Jax goes back for a Mana Crystal. He wants that Sheen first. I'm not sure it's the best thing to be going in this lane. But he has also picked up a control word to disable the boxes. An excellent choice, but let's see if he's good enough to actually drop it on time. Meanwhile, bot lane, the pressure is being laid on. 32 CS to 13. Lucian not having a good time in this lane. Draven opting to not take cookies in this lane. He definitely doesn't need it. Windows, stop it. He definitely doesn't need the cookies to win this lane with Nami here. Lucian's CS getting absolutely demolished. And their hope now is that the Draven messes up and dies. His adoration stacks are slowly building, and it's not going to work out. Counter-Strike is down. So is the Jax's flash. Jumping into that box could have gone a lot worse. And here comes the Empower Leap Strike again. Here comes the Counter-Strike, the Sieve getting out of the stun range. This Shaco is not being as aggressive as he probably likes with that summoner setup. Especially with an M-Tome. Just an M-Tome to speak of. Dirk. Or, it's not Dirk, it's a Shiv. 2 Shiv is his only way of actually chunking him reliably. He's counting on Jax to turn his butt away from him for extra damage. Olaf tries for a gank bot. It's not going to work out. The pressure is just far too great. He needs to be the initiator, but he cannot run in against that. It does look somewhat dire, but as long as red team AD carry still lives, the lane is not over. The CS differential here can be made up in the future, but what cannot be made up is if the adoration stacks all get cashed in on time. Then the snowball is far too much to handle. Olaf runs in for another try, flashing in on the Draven. Draven got counter flash away. Driver comes in for a counter gank. Do not give this kill over to Draven. They need to dive. They need to dive. They get the Draven. Draven gets shut down. He drops all his stacks. That is a wonderful gank. Even if the jungler drops, it is all worth it. The bubble comes down and bot lane does drop. But that is okay. The adoration has been denied. It could have gone a lot better indeed, but having shut down the adoration is definitely a fantastic consolation prize. No complaints about that. The Jarvan does pick up 2 additional kills on top of that. He is now 3-0. Certainly ahead now in the jungle. Yeah, by all means ahead of the jungle. He actually went back and immediately picked up Cinderhawk, so that is his entire jungle item done. And he's going to resume his jungling duties. Draven comes back, not as fed as he nearly wants to be, picks up boots and a BF sword, and he too is going up against a matched BF sword off the bot lane. Despite the CS lead, that shutdown doing wonders to deny Draven all his stacks. Mid lane Ryze has picked up his tier, so now he can sustain quite a bit against the Ahri. Sitting back, wave clearing, letting the mana regen do what it does best. I need to find a way to mute Windows, I swear to God. It's only annoying when I record stuff. Ryze pops the cleanse against the Ahri. Ahri will dash in through the Olaf. Olaf is still running in behind her. She has 1 charge of her ulti left, and she runs right into the Olaf. Olaf pops the ultimate. He's going to run her down with a reckless swing. The vicious strikes giving him the lifesteal. Jarvan can't stand up to this. Another reckless swing dunks him and gets a shutdown. Olaf swing the jungle lead back to himself with a fantastic double kill. And he too has now accrued a bounty and a healthy 500, almost 600 gold lead against the enemy tank Jarvan. Hex Flash Q, very cheeky, but will not find his mark. Draven actually went back and bought 3 health potions. Not exactly the best way to spend 150 gold, but who am I to judge? The CS gap is not nearly as big as it used to be. The pressure from bot lane is slowly being relieved. Now let's check their gold differential. Yep, pretty much only 350 behind. Not too big of a deal. Could definitely be so much worse. These trades can be shrugged off soon once some lifesteal actually comes online in the form of a Cutlass, maybe a Bork. But considering that there's a BF first, it's a Lucian going for the river route. Not wonderful in terms of lane sustain, but probably a higher damage variant. And here comes the Jarvan. Bullet Train coming in, locking down the Shaco, doing absolutely no damage for some reason. And here comes the Jax. Jax has to run. Ragnarok has popped way too late. The stun has already actually worn off. Here comes a Reckless Strike. The Flag and Drag does not get him away in time. Jax, living with dot health, has to back way far away from his turret. And top lane is now going to get crunched down in plates. The tank, the beautiful Braum shield absorbing the Draven ultimate that would definitely have killed Lucian. Draven is slowly building his adoration stacks back up, and once again their mission becomes shutting him down a second time. He is sitting at 130 adoration stacks. Definitely once again accruing potential wealth that can be picked up. A very clutch Braum shield, completely stopping the damage. Here comes the Realm Warp. The bubble guesses wrong, but the Ryze jumps onto the Nami. Here comes the Draven to match. Draven throwing his axes into the Braum shield, doing nothing. Shaco comes in with the teleport as well, cleaning up the bot lane. Draven once again drops all of his adoration. He is being expertly shut down by the multi-man roam, and being having been denied so many stacks now. I think over 200, maybe even 300 stacks have been lost so far. He is not as rich as he wants to be. The gold lead has extended to about 700-ish, but it is not wide enough. He opts for a pickaxe, going for an Infinity Edge as his first item. The blue team comes in with the steal, but Jarvan will pay for the steal with his life. He only takes the Ocean Drake away. The next Drake is the Cloud Drake. Everybody's favorite Drake. Ahri has also committed her ultimate in order to get into that pit. And Jarvan has definitely dropped. Although he does secure the objectives, he falls even further behind in the jungle matchup. Olaf is definitely in a position to start running him over. Now we see Olaf coming down here trying for another gank, clearing the ward with the Vision Plant. He will not be able to find a successful gank and backs off. And top lane, Jax takes a second plate, but that comes at the cost of some much needed hit points, and now Shaco is in hot pursuit. The shift slow is coming down, but he doesn't have the tools to continue pursuing. Jax also can barely fight this, not without Counter-Strike. He sees the Deceive Puff. He's guessing that's the correct Shaco. That is not the correct Shaco, and he drops his Counter-Strike on the clone, doing nothing. But now the clone is completely AFK, not participating in this fight. The leash range pulls him back, and he's not gonna sick the clone after him. The fleeing is proccing on him, but Shaco has no box. Shaco has no box. He does deceive away, and the box comes down. Meanwhile, bot lane, Draven finally gets his first kill of the game, gets 161 bonus gold. Not as much as he wants, but that is going to be Infinity Edge secured, I am pretty sure. Yep, that is definitely more than enough gold for Infinity Edge on his next back. This gank gets turned around bot lane, and now the bot lane turret is in a lot of trouble. Jax gets forced back top lane. The box trigger was not enough to kill him, and Shaco gets some time to free push that turret. He is not sitting at as high as the lead as you will want from that Shaco setup, but it is good enough to make some map plays and shut down Jax. Jax is finding the Shaco very, very annoying to fight against. He can't really stand up to Shaco being poofing around everywhere. Here comes the Draven. He's thirsty. He flashes under the turret and just drops. Very questionable decision, but ultimately it may not matter. Affinity Edge has been purchased while the Lucian has yet to complete his even his Warhammer required for his Reaver. With Magical Footwear helping out, alleviating 300 gold from his build path, he's still very much behind the Draven. As a result, it's a very dominant lane pick. The Braum jumps in, but Jarvan responds, and that is going to be the end of the support. The pick has failed due to the jungler. Meanwhile, Ahri is still trying to push in mid lane. Ahri is quite a bit behind the Ryze. The solo lanes for the red team are definitely asserting dominance here. What the hell is Jax building? He got his Sheen, thinking he'd go Triforce, and just gave up and went for Wit's End. That's not the item choice that I would have gotten. And here comes the Shaco. He's deceiving. He's running back into the box. Oh, the hammer smacks him on the face. There was no corrupting potion. There was no DOT. And Jax is going to live with a sliver of health. And he gets out of there. But Ryze still very much ahead in this lane matchup. He is in a position to take this game over. He can soon output enough to just absolutely delete Draven without Draven being able to output. And this wave clear is going to be terrifying. And here comes the Undertow. Undertow scouts out the Jarvan. Jarvan is doing Herald. So Olaf will run down, dissuade him from continuing that, and Jarvan will run away. Ryze has also made his way into the top river. They want to go at it, but here comes the Draven. He has an Infinity Edge, but he didn't get a crit, and he's not being matched by a completed Reaver. Definitely not as far ahead as he wants to be, especially now with this lane matchup. Braum is a much better pick than Nami in the long term here. And mid lane we have another solo kill. Ryze living with very little health against Ignite. He is in a position to take over, but Jarvan is going to come and sweep up mid lane, so he has to back. But Jarvan is positioning aggressively. He decides to not go for it and backs off. And bot lane is still constantly getting pushed in 24/7. Just the nature of the lane matchup. And they have to try to survive under the turret and pick up scraps for just a bit longer before the rest of the lane can really be opened up. Jax starts bonking on the clone, gets feared, gets pushed back. Counter-Strike negates most of the box damage. But he's definitely in a position where he's actively beating Shaco in one-on-one trades. His only way to lose is getting greedy. Bot turret drops, and I believe that's the first turret of the game. And the word will spot out the Olaf attempting to come clean up. Draven has no natural lifesteal, but Nami is keeping him topped up. And the lead from bot lane versus the lead from mid lane. Looks like it's going to be the story of this game. And it's going to be enacted now, but Ryze gets jumped down by so many people. Draven picks up his third cash-in of the game. He should be quite rich. There is no Ragnarok available, so Olaf gets picked out by the CC and dies. So that's their two of the strongest members on red team. They both drop, which means that this dragon is now blue team's possession. The rift has decided to be a mountain rift, which is admittedly better for the red team to pick up here with Braum and Olaf, and even Ryze that gets a bit tankiness as well. So that's what they want. They could go for the 4 Drake comeback and go for 4 mountains and become so incredibly tanky that Draven can't even touch them. And here comes the counter-strike. Shaco hallucinate, does not fully dodge the stun damage, but he will buffer most of the stun with being invisible. He tries to trick Jax, I think. He just left his clone there and didn't even do anything, and he just dies. So now Jax has accrued enough critical items that he's actually taking him down. What the heck is this? He just cannot decide what item to do first. But even with tiny scraps, he's beating out Shaco's Gunblade. So now the map comes to making a lot of plays around the Ryze. The Ryze is their only hope. 175 CS, 17 minutes into the game. Very impressive numbers. And his Seraph's Embrace has been completed, I believe. Yep, it has. Shaco TP's in against the Jax, but that's probably not a good idea. You probably don't want to be there right now. Jax can definitely clap you. You should look to run. Ruin Prison snares down the Ahri. A machine gun, no spells, takes her down. That is another solo kill for the Ryze. Here comes the tidal wave. Here comes the Jarvan flash. It's matched. It's being matched by Ryze's flash as well. But Jarvan keeps going in. The bubble snags the Ryze, and Ryze will drop. But here comes the rest of the cavalry. Mid lane gets swept up very nicely. Jarvan drops. There is no Shiv. There's no Shiv. Where's the Deceive? Deceives in 3 seconds. Here comes the turn. But the turn's not enough, and Jax blows his flash for absolutely nothing. Meanwhile, back in mid lane, Draven Nami holding down the fort. Being very effective, lobbing out a ton of axes. He's sitting at 50% crit and with Vamp Scepter. Highly difficult to kill, and he can definitely kill people in just a blink of an eye. They need to be very careful and watch who he's targeting. He's targeting the Braum. Stand behind me. His shield's in the wrong direction. Does not absorb any axe and just dies. The red buff slow is being applied. Draven picks up a double kill. How is the gold situation doing? He is definitely the richest person in this game. As to be expected. But he is now rich enough that this game is completely over. Here comes the teleport. Ryze snags up in the Ruin Prison. He nukes down the Draven. But the damage is done. Draven goes back home with $2,000 in his pocket. He picks up Rapid Fire Cannon. And he is now working on his lifesteal item. Here comes the Jarvan. Jarvan is hunting down the Ryze, but he turns on the Lucian. Lucian walks in alone and gets dropped by the Nami shower. But, right, that is the early warning system needed for Ryze to get out. Ryze is 3 levels on top of the jungler, but he's not in a position to fight. The CC is coming down. The Flag and Drag knocks him up. The cleanse does not work against knockups unless you have another skill. And that is the end of Ryze. Being picked up by the physical damage that Jarvan can output with the Titanic Hydra. Wit's End has been completed in the top lane, making Jax infinitely harder to kill for the Shaco. And aside from that one roam in the early game, Shaco is being basically almost fully neutralized by the Jax. very little he can actually do to stand up. Jax must realize that's a clone based on how much damage he's taking. He's definitely not that fed. So now he's going to turn tail and run, but here comes the cavalry. Olaf throws in the undertow. Vicious Strike says pop, but he only lands one auto. Reckless Swing being matched by the counter strike. And here comes the ignite. Shaco ducks into the brush. He's not visible. Jarvan comes in to clean up. Ragnarok is not available. Olaf just has to run, but he pops his Vicious Strikes and turns. Draven comes in and cleans him up with a single axe. Tidal Wave. The shield does not cover him in time, so Braum gets the knockup, and he's now immensely slowed. The bubble will catch him. Shaco gets dunked in the back line. Braum runs. Braum tries to run, but he's the martyr, and Shaco is turning tail. Jarvan has a high health pool that the Lucian just cannot stress through with his current build. It doesn't do enough damage yet. The charm barely clips his target, catches out the Shaco recalling, and now he's alone, but the box will buy him some time. It's not even close to being enough. The Ryze, last survivor, coming in to try to make something happen, but he has to watch out for the bubble, or the flag and drag, or the charm. There's just so many tools that the blue team has to pick them off right now. The gold lead and the gold lead from the team has climbed up to a healthy 6,000 gold ahead. Control of this game very much being handed over to blue team. And here comes the third dragon. A contest here will be quite difficult, but it is possible. They only have 2 people in the pit, and it's going down quite slow. Here comes a Realm Warp. Ryze wants to steal. The steal goes down from the Olaf. That's her first Drake of the game, and now the pit is chaos. They're going to clean up. Blue team, the 2 people going down for dragon gets picked off. Nothing else is taken on the map. There is no response from blue team. Everybody else was resetting, and the Drake gets completely turned. A positive play from the red team, bringing the gold lead down by almost 25% of what it was to be before. And now we wait for the next action. Shaco decides to leave his nest for the first time in like 20 minutes, and now will lane mid for a while. He has enough, he has ample escape tools, but can he get out if they actually decide to pounce on him? Draven gets thirsty, goes in, 500 crit on the axe, takes out almost half of Shaco's health bar. He realizes he cannot stay there for long. He pops a hallucinate and leaves a clone behind to pretend to be him. And the real Shaco will stand aside. He's microing his clone, being very derpy about it. Draven gets feared, but there's nobody there except for the Ryze. The machine gun nukes him down. Redemption is not even in time to save him. There's no locket, there's nothing to defend against burst. And that is the redemption down from blue team. There's nothing to throw for it. Skullcrab gets taken out as the next objective, but red team is making their way up into the river. Reinforcements are coming down. They want to make this catch sitting in the side brush, but this is not going to happen. There's no way this is going to happen. They tried for the fight anyway. Jarvan jumps down on the Ryze, but he's stuck in the crater with a Ryze that is so much stronger than him. Calling finishes the Ahri. Mid tower will drop being squishy. Ryze blows up the Jarvan on the side. Now it's just the Jax coming in from the top side, but he can't actually save anybody. Everybody's already dead. He comes to the mid lane to a bunch of corpses. That is a resounding teamfight win for red team, taking 2 for nothing with a very botched engage to start with from the blue team. The Ahri is just not strong enough to fight. Baron is the call for red team. They're going to try to make this happen. Can they make it happen? The goal lead has been brought back to 2,000, but here comes the rest of the assist. The Draven Axe giving them vision, scouting everything. The stun coming into the pit, but it hits nobody. He gets dunked on and dropped. And now there's only 2 people alive for blue team. One of them just respawned, but he has made his way back into the pit. He's fighting the Shaco clone. He must know that's a clone. That's not the real one. The real one pops the sweepers, and he gets dropped. Realm Orb coming down. He's going to bring the Braum. The machine gun finds Nami as the target. Not the correct person to be hitting. Popping the Seraph, walking up, but the Axis dissuades from continuing further. Bloodthirster is coming up. Healing reduction is needed. Ryze does have Morellonomicon, but he needs to land damage on the Draven and burst him out. They were picking separate targets there, and were not able to kill anybody. Baron does actually get picked up by the members of the red team that remained in the pit. So that is actually a positive play, having lost nobody of importance, I will say. Shaco is still sitting on brown boost 25 minutes into the game. And he's flashless. He's definitely just resorting to a lot of cheap tricks to stay alive. But tier 1 boots will not advance his cause on that. He needs to upgrade. He needs to up those boots ASAP. Speaking of sitting on brown boots 25 minutes in, the Ahri is also apparently working with welfare checks. Can't even buy new shoes. Now we have red team picking up Baron. Not Baron, red team. Red team picking up the red buff for the AD carry. And now they're going to try for a difficult and winding siege down bot, down mid. Their split pusher is bot, but Jarvan is there to answer. Not much progress can be made down here. Jarvan can wave clear so much better. He sends out a clone, but he definitely sees the puff of hallucination cloud. He pops the sweeper. He sees a silhouette. He knows that the real Shaco is running away, and the clone is sticking to him, applying shift poison. Meanwhile, mid lane, the push is continuing. It's slow, but it's slowly working. Ahri can't wave clear this as efficiently as she wants to, but red team opts to back off. There's a Jarvan coming in for a flank, but the Jarvan gets distracted by a Scuttle Crab. They're going to clear the pink ward. Clearing the pink ward doesn't actually shut down the vision. They just replace it with a fresh one. Here comes the Shaco. Is he going to force the flag and drag out? If he flags and drags out, he can't fight. Ryze gets caught out and instantly popped by the charm. He once again tried to cleanse a knockup, but was not able to flash out to fully break the CC. The Olaf dives in the back, but AD carry is low. The support is dropped, and it's just the Lucian. Just the Lucian versus the Draven. The Draven does not have flash. He can't close that gap. The real Shaco turns tail and runs away, leaving the Draven there to deal with the clone. There's no smite. There's no mana on the Draven. Oh, he's gonna lob 2 axes over the wall, and he's gonna get the kill. And that Mountain Drake is now fully blue team's to take. That is their 3rd Drake of the game. One more will mean the soul. But I don't think this game will last that long. These teamfights resting on knife's edge. Ryze getting caught out and cleansing the wrong CC, getting him killed there. A very unfortunate mistake, but a mistake nonetheless. He is now working on Void Staff as his next item, even though, to be honest, he really needs that Zhonya's. There's so much pick on red team. Cleanse itself will not save you against knockups. It cannot save you against Tidal Wave. It only saves you against the Bubble, the Charm, and the Jack Stun. But the Jarvan Flag and the Tidal Wave, you need something stronger than that. As well as the Stand Aside, I guess, but that's a very soft CC compared to everything else that they have, I mean. No. 2 members on blue team standing on a ward, but they do see Ryze. Jarvan wants blood. He pops a sweeper. He doesn't kill the plant. He's hunting down Ryze. Ryze, all the wiser, backs off. Now we have 3 members bot. But top lane, Jarvan decides to go mid. And Ryze, Walmer's mid. He pops a glory. Stand aside, stops him from going any further. The shield tanks the bubble. But the Q will not find its mark. The Realmwork catch attempt fails. And the Righteous Glory also goes down. But here comes the Shaco. He gets stunned. Jax gets slowed. He doesn't have counter strike. He gets mowed down by red team, being caught out alone. And now it's a 5-on-4. But they don't really have the tools to catch. Ryze blows his flash to get in, but he doesn't actually land the Rune Prison. Ahri loses vision. He doesn't land the Rune Prison in time. Draven single-handedly running up into the red team. Jarvan gets forced off into the side. The support drops to buy some time. There's a Guardian Angel, but he gets rooted by the Rune Prison. His Guardian Angel is procced, and he's on top of a box. He does not have Quicksilver Sash, and he gets picked up. And their critical member is down. They don't have anyone else to fight. The Ahri is not strong enough to match this wave. She cannot wave clear this effectively. There's a Ryze. Ryze steps on a bubble, but he immediately cleanses it. Nukes down the Ahri, and that is just the support left. Shaco dodges the tower aggro with Hallucinate. They're going to continue this push. There's no wave for a very long time. This cannon is all they have. They can't do this push as effectively as they want. They're going to turn for Baron. Baron just spawned in time. It's a very opportune spawn time. And just pops up as red team marches down into its pit. Just to say hello. Just to say hello. Even the calling gets committed to bring it down a little bit faster. And there is the Shaco laying down a box to delay the middle wave. And he is going to reset, having gotten into a scuffle. The solo lanes are definitely doing their work to carry this team. The AD carry here has actually also bounced back from a horrible laning experience against Draven Nami. Now 9, 3, and 6, definitely very strong in his own right. One item away from full build, sitting at 75% critical chance along with a Phantom Dancer. He can definitely start winning quite a bit of duels now, maybe even against the Draven. The Draven, despite how ahead he was and how many kills he picked up early, isn't even at full build. Their gold amount is actually being matched quite closely. Jarvan jumps in. That's almost a suicide mission, but here comes the counter-strike on 3. Ryze has to turn around. He's very low. Draven takes him down with a single empowered rapid-fire axe. The Lucian is fed, but they are being outnumbered. Draven gets a triple kill. He stands aside backwards to get the Shaco, leaving the pursuit of the Draven to the rest of their team. Jax is not strong enough to kill him. They will be too busy with the clone to possibly fight. But that was a good fight for the blue team. Blue team takes a 1-for-3 trade against the Baron. That does slow down their imminent push by quite a bit as well. Ryze does get caught out by the Jarvan, who basically suicide dove in, and it took red team far too long to nuke him down. The deceive, he will deceive out. He will not finish that recall on time before the Nami will get to him. And instead of going back, he decides to create some pressure in the side lanes. And the dragon has spawned. This is the soul. And it doesn't seem like there's a way to stop this contest. The jungler is not there, but they have enough damage where a single Lucian cannot walk into that pit. So that is going to be the soul for blue team. A persistent shield on top, sitting on top of them. Quite scary when it comes to, well, their damage dealers really. The Draven is now quite a bit more unkillable. Jarvan dumps so much damage onto the clone, finally realizing it's a clone at the last possible second, but the clone already drops. The Deceive carries him to the side, but he's actually carrying minion autos, so Jarvan knows exactly where he is. But right behind them, there's another teamfight breaking out. The Olaf running down the support, running down the Jax, but here comes the Draven. The one axe is actually setting off a burn from a red buff. It will not kill the Olaf. It's a successful 3-for-0 fight because the Jarvan actually died in the back and nobody even cared. It was a 4-for-0 fight now. The remnants of red team that still have Baron, namely the Lucian in this one push, has timed out, but it's done enough to actually give them this tower and this inhibitor at mid lane. The clone Shaco is actually still wearing the Baron buff, even though it has timed out. They are going to get the inhibitor as well. And it's just this one push. A Draven is fed, but he's not nearly fed enough. He gets machine gunned down by the Ryze. That is going to be the game. Blue team picks a very terrible fight right outside their base, and the game will not end in an explosion but a whimper.